All right, I'm back for Dust2S's ongoing coverage of IEM Cologne 2023. I'm here with OG's Nexa, coming off of their confident win over Apeks to secure a spot in the main group stage. So to start off, how is the mood in the camp, in the OG camp after that win? I know it's been a struggle so far. You didn't find your first win until yesterday. With that in mind, how's the team feeling right now?
Yeah, we're obviously really happy. It's really nice that we followed up on our win yesterday with another win. It feels really good. I think we're slowly getting into the rhythm and starting to show a better face than we did in Blast and that we did in our opening game here as well. I think we're still obviously learning. We're not where we want to be exactly, but there's still a lot of room for improvement.
Mm-hmm. And with that in mind, when we talked to Regali on day one, he said there was a lot of things up in the air right now. Are you guys using Blast Fall and IEM Cologne to sort of find your map pool and find where people want to play, or where's sort of the team at in its sort of formative era? Like, do you think after Cologne the team will be completely figured out, or is there going to be more work to come after Cologne?
I think there's definitely more work to come after Cologne. I think we met basically 2 days before Blast group stage started, and we just made a blueprint. Okay, this is how we'll try it first, and then if it's not working out or some roles are not fitting well, then we'll swap around, and that's what we did. Basically after Blast, we swapped around some things in game, and so far it's been working better than before. But obviously there's still a lot of things and a lot of work to be done.
Mm-hmm. And with that in mind, you returned to activity, relatively recently, and I wanted to sort of ask you about the formation of this roster. How much input did you have from sort of the sidelines into what players OG ended up picking up, especially sort of when Flames and Dexter left, the new additions that came in?
I had no say in picking up Regali. He was signed already by the time I was ready to make my return. And as for the two other guys, it was basically between them and one more player. So it wasn't me deciding. I just shared my thoughts on all the players possible, all the players, what I think of them and their past experiences, and basically the management just chose the players at the end.
And so, you're one of those players who have been on probably the most international teams, whether that's, Imperial, Crazy, G2, Man's Not Hot, now, OG. You've had a very deep pedigree of, picking up international teams and sort of helping to build them. Is it difficult for you as an IGL to sort of be on a team where you don't get to handpick all 5 elements?
Yeah, it's obviously difficult, but I think that's the way CS has developed so far, and I think more often than not the coaches or the managements have pretty much the keys and they decide how to build the roster. Obviously the game leader has his input, but it's more how you want to play, these are the pieces that you have, and then you do your best to make it work.
Do you think that's you mentioned sort of that's an overall change as we move away from the era of people like Fall and being able to handpick their roster. In your opinion, do you think that's a good thing for the development of the sport, or do you think it's a limiting factor for sort of the overall power of an IGL?
I think it's good for the sport. I think overall coaches are more valuable than people think they are, and they have way more input in the game. Maybe not for every single team, but I think for a vast majority of the teams it is true like this. Coaches with the in-game leader, of course, build the game plans and do a lot of stuff in the team that you cannot really see from the outside. And I think they should be the ones holding the keys and making the big decisions in the team.
And with that in mind, I wanted to ask you about your relationship with Rugga and Kakafu and Rugga, especially Rugga. There were some rumors during the summer transfer season that Rugga might be moving to a different role in the organization. To start, is there any credibility to those rumors, or was it always going to be Rugga as the helm of OG?
I'm not sure. I think it was more that maybe he becomes the general manager or a higher up position in the org itself, but I don't think there was I was really inactive, and I also heard the rumors itself, so I don't really know. We didn't really speak about it so far. He's the head coach, and the plan is that he stays as the head coach.
Now that you're heading into the main event, what do you think? What's the sort of expectation or goal for OG? Obviously, like you mentioned earlier, you're still in sort of the formative era. But what would be sort of your what would be sort of the distance where you go where you feel really satisfied about your performance here in Cologne?
Yeah, obviously, the best possible scenario we can envision right now is that we make the playoffs. I think we have some momentum, like off the last 2 wins. I think we also got some confidence since we got smashed pretty much at Blast by everyone. So the confidence feels good, and like hopefully we get to carry it out in our group stage matches as well. But yeah, making the playoffs would be, you know, like the dream case scenario, let's say. And but I think so far, basically our main goal was just to go to the group stage.
Keeping in mind the fact that you had limited input on who was going to be on this roster, among sort of the 4 players you're with, who has impressed you so much as far in who has impressed you the most so far in the new additions to OG?
Yeah, I think Ito has been the guy who's impressed me the most. I think he is. He really has a good brain for Counter-Strike. I think he's fearless. He's not afraid to bring up ideas or some key points, and he's also not afraid to do the things that he doesn't practice on the server.
Mm-hmm. And then final question for you. You came up, you and many of the other top names in the Serbian scene, whether that's Kasad, whether that's Janko, Nico, etc., all came up from the same organization, iNation, and they recently announced their decision to pull out of CSGO, dropping their current roster. As an organization that I think was relatively important to your own sort of emergence in the Serbian scene, how do you think the demise of iNation rather, is going to affect newer Serbian players?
Yeah, I think iNation was a really great home for like upcoming talents, and I really hope that they do return, maybe in CS2 or whenever they can. And I don't think it's gonna have like so much negative impact on the scene itself, because if like the younger kids and like the players in Serbia want to play, they'll make a team for themselves and they ground the game. I know that a lot of players in Serbia don't mind playing without a paycheck, just because they just love the game and they love playing together.
All right, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in the main stage.
Thank you.
Thank you.